and this time we are in York, and we visited in August. This is the Jorvik Viking Centre.
There was a ride that took us through a historically accurate looking Viking village with all the sound effects and moving mannequins.
Animatronics, and it essentially was a suspended kind of cable cart ride, so it didn't touch the floor and you just rode in it, and it took you through the museum, talking about different aspects of Viking or Nordic life in
The
York.
UK.
Well, the UK and York. And yeah, it was
It was quite fun, and you feel like you're actually in that village. Whilst you're
the
taking
little
the ride.
pig.
And the best thing, they also had all the sound effects, so yeah, it actually feels like in that village.
For those who don't know, York was the centre of power for the Vikings and Nordic folk in the early medieval period. It kind of switched back and forth through different parts of the ages with the five boroughs, the Danelaw and Mercia, but this generally was the centre of power. This is Fairfax House, a restored Georgian.
It's a recreation of a Georgian townhouse owned by a nobleman set in around 1760.
Thank you. So it's got all the artifacts. A lot of it's been recreated because, well, not recreated, they're authentic, but they're not from the house. Some of them have been brought in to recreate what the actual
Georgian townhouse would look
Georgian
like,
townhouse would look like here. As it was in the early 1900s converted into a cinema, and they kind of butchered most of it. Thankfully, they didn't mess too much with the plastering on the ceiling, so the rest could be restored quite easily. There's a kind of life there's a kind of life in York Museum.
It's your castle museum actually,
Is it?
but it's got a very confusing name.
Yeah.
You thought it's gonna be like a castle, but it's actually not.
Yeah, it's kind of York through the ages, and
It's just a history museum, really.
yeah, but they had this really intricate remade Victorian street. This is actually inside the museum, and there's a lot of it. There's a similar one in Leicester, but it's nowhere near as big as this one. This is the biggest one I've seen, and it was really cool to walk around because it actually felt like you're in a Victorian street, and it had like rain playing and whatnot in the background. The thing is, this is inside the museum, so
So we're not on that.
there's no sky above you, but they've darkened it to make it feel like it's night, so it's very eerie. So we were queuing up for this museum, at least what we thought was this museum, which is attached to the same building. And we were wondering why they were doing metal detector body scans to go in. And we thought, oh, that's just part of a museum, because some museums do that. And it was only at some point we realised that we were queuing up to go into a courthouse. And we were wondering why the people waiting outside didn't look particularly nice. So just imagine if we got in and just had no idea. It'd just be like, oh, the actors in this museum, this prison is fantastic.
This is York Minster. York Minster is the largest Gothic cathedral in Northern Europe.
this is the Shambles, which is a very old part of York. It is known for its character because the houses are so close together, which is what originally Victorian streets and Georgian streets would have been like. We were waiting to go in a place called York Ghost Merchants, which has become a bit of a fad over the last few years to collect ghosts from there. They're little figurines which are apparently all unique, even though some, personally, I would say look very similar.
They're all hand-painted and painted, and people collect them.
Yeah. And they are supposed to represent the 1,000 ghost stories of York. And the wait time for us was 40 minutes to get in. I've heard it can be better or worse at different times of the day.
And sometimes just queued there for hours.
And anyway, here are our ghosties. Mine looks like a Viking.
I got the one with the flame on.
Mine has a beard. Because it's cool. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video around York, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.